Hey everyone, it's Angel again. Welcome back to my channel. I just finished doing a flip through of my this little art journal. I guess I could call it an art journal. I mean, I made art in here, but I just finished a flip through of this. I had meant to film both of them together, but I just feel like doing two separate videos is going to make it just easier and shorter for you guys. So I will put the link in the description below if you want to check that out. And so let's get to this one. This is my watercolor journal. It's a Strathmore 400 series watercolor paper. I can't tell you what the dimensions are. Well, yeah, I could actually. I could do that right now. So it is 9.5 by, well, 9.5 by 7 3/4, I guess. I'm sure the papers are warped by now, so it's kind of like, well, yeah, 7 3/4 and 9.5 or 9 3/4. So yeah. So that's the dimensions. I got it for less than $20 on Amazon. Love it. Would totally get it again, but I just ordered a new one, but I didn't get the Strathmore brand just because I wanted to try out a watercolor journal that would lay flat when I opened it. That's my only complaint about this. And as you can see, I did not decorate these books like I said in the part one of this flip through. I don't normally decorate my fine art journals, not for any other reason other than it just kind of never really occurred to me. I mean, I did do like this stupid little doodle while I was talking on the phone one day and then wrote my name on it, but you know, that was it. So I feel like now that I said that, I probably should decorate it just because. So let's get to the flip through. So for my very first page, I decided to do a leaf. And I had to actually go on Facebook and post a picture of it to ask what kind of leaf it is. These plants are all over the place in Florida. And somebody told me it was called a croton leaf. I wish I could remember what my mom calls it. My mom speaks a different language. And she called it something else. But I wrote down here, new journal arrived today as we were walking the pups. I had been wanting to pluck leaves from these plants to paint for a while now. I had to ask Peeps on Facebook. What did I say? I actually wrote Peeps. Like, do I talk like that? Is that how I talk? My God. I had to ask Peeps on Facebook board what they are called. My mom told me the Filipino name for them once, which, if I remember correctly, translates into money plant. She said they were good luck. I wrote Filipino and not Tagalog because my mom's first language, I mean, if you're from the Philippines, my mom's first language is not Tagalog. It's actually, they call it Waray. She's Bisayan, and so she speaks, that's the language that she speaks. And then Tagalog, she also speaks Cebuano and a little bit of, is it Ilocano? Is Ilocano a language? And then English. So yeah. Anyway, and then I just put a little sample of the paints that I was using. Winsor Newton Professional Gray Transparent Yellow is becoming my favorite paint right now. So I wrote that. Croton leaf plucked from my neighbor's front door, and I did not ask them for permission. So some more leaves. I used one of Angela Fair's. She's one of my favorite YouTube tutors. Love her tutorials. So informative. Her and Lindsay Weirick and The Mind of Watercolor. If you want to know how to do watercolor and you've never tried before, those are the three to go to. But I was using her technique of putting down a wash and then painting in the little sections so that the veins will show through. And then for some reason I just felt like writing green over and over and over and over on this page. And then I did another leaf using a different I don't know what technique this is, using a different technique. And then I made a little thing, a little border around. And then this is my favorite book quote from the book Cross Creek by Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings. She wrote The Yearling, if you don't know this book, but if you love Florida, or if you have ever been to Florida and the country part of Florida, the central part of Florida where the oranges are grown and all the farmlands are, you should read Cross Creek. She makes you want to run off to the country. I'm not joking. But I kind of messed up a word here, so I glued this origami paper because I made like a leaf and I glued it. But it's we cannot live without the earth or apart from it. And something is shriveled in a man's heart when he turns away from it and concerns himself only with the affairs of men. And I just love that quote. It's one of my favorite books. So some more color mixing, and trying to figure out what colors I was going to use, because I was doing another Stone Church Road painting that I actually ended up giving to my sister, and so I wanted to make sure that the colors were going to be nice. Obviously, this is a mango because I wrote it in big letters, and then I wrote this mango was so good. Honestly, I still remember how delicious this mango was. It was so delicious. And that's kind of how I decided that I really like this green. Well, first of all, this combination of colors, which is sap green, transparent yellow, and quinacridone red. But I also love this green and this purple, which is permanent blue violet together. I do. So yeah, that mango was good. This page, oh my God, I'm almost embarrassed to show. Well, no, I'm not almost embarrassed. I am embarrassed to show you. So I was watching a Frugal Crafter video of how to do a feather. I had never painted a feather before, and I royally screwed it up, and I was like, well, let me just go with it, and I just kept going, and so yeah. And then I glued this little envelope that I painted with a feather kind of design, and then I just put a bunch of feathers that I found while walking my dogs. I don't know what kind of feather this is, well, this is a blue jay feather. I don't know if you can see the blue stripes on it. I don't know what kind this is. It's beautiful though, right? And I have another one in here, another blue jay feather. So I just put them in here. I'm probably going to take them out and put them in a junk journal, just because this page is awful. And I kept thinking maybe I should write something down, here, and just have this as a background, but I never did, of course. And then once again, the farm, my grandma's farm. I paint this place over and over again because I just cannot get it out of my heart. I mean, there's no way I could ever get this place out of my heart. But yeah, so I think this is an indigo paint. I had painted something on this and I didn't like it, so I painted over it, and then I just wrote something, memory of my grandma. I had a dream about her. I was having a surgery. I had to, I'll tell you guys about it another time, but basically I'm a cancer survivor. I had thyroid cancer the year I turned 30. Supposedly, I mean, what they say is it's the sort of cancer, it's like if somebody put a gun to your head and said you got to choose one, that's the one that you would choose, because that's the one that is curable, and it's like less than 0% chance, or less than 1% chance, I think, of reoccurring once they consider you cured. I'm considered cured, but because of how aggressive my particular case was, I am constantly under surveillance, basically, by my doctors. I have to go every 6 months. I have to go to an endocrinologist. I can't do it with my primary. It has to be a specialist every time. I got to get blood work and all that stuff. Anyway, that's all over with, and I'll tell you guys about that another time in another video, because it's not that I don't like to talk about it. It just takes forever, I'm trying to put it past me and move past it, but it says, When I went in for surgery, usually removing a thyroid takes less than 2 hours. I mean, this is what I was told. It takes less than 2 hours. My particular surgery, because at that point my thyroid was a tumor. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, like, oh, it's just like a little bump. I mean, it was huge at that point, and it was really stuck in there that my surgeon, God bless the man, had to work really hard to get it out, and it took about 7 or 8 hours. And so I was under for 7 or 8 hours thinking, I mean, I went in thinking like, oh, an hour and a half, I may even be able to go home tonight, and I ended up in the hospital for 2 days. Of course, you know, I had to make a big production out of, you know, something simple. But anyway, during my surgery, I dreamt, and I'm telling you this now, I dreamt that I was leaning my head on my head on grandma's shoulder, and Papa that's my grandpa, we always called him Papa. Papa was on the other side. I could hear her sweet voice, "Thank you, Grandma." And it was just like, it was really comforting for me to dream about them, because I was really scared. I had never had surgery before. I had always been healthy. Not always, but I had, you know, I took care of my body, and so it was really hard for me to accept the fact that I had cancer, and here I am having like a complete, you know, like an organ basically being removed from my body. And so it was very comforting to wake up and remember that I was dreaming about my grandma. And so I just wrote that down. And I mean, this was a long time ago that this happened, so it wasn't like a sad thing. I just was thinking about my grandparents. And so then this is actually from memory, and I kind of took artistic license with it. So this is, if I'm in my grandma's house, this is my grandma's house, and the kitchen is in the back, and the window will be looking up the hill this way. So this is the view of, you know, the hill, a tree, and then these little white, there's like these little white bumps that I thought were rocks. So it's like there were these huge white, one big one in particular, what I thought were rocks that I could see on the hill from the pantry window and also from the road at the front of the house. When I inspected closer, I realized it was a huge mushroom. One day I decided to kick it. It exploded. It was a puff mushroom. So there's the puff mushroom. And so here's that's the window. And this was supposed to be a shamrock plant. She always had a shamrock plant, but she didn't keep it in the pantry. She kept it over the kitchen sink. So I kind of took liberty with at least this part. But yeah, and then I just wrote, you know, on the farm, some more mushrooms. Yeah, some more trees. These are supposed to be live oaks, and then I had just received some Winsor & Newton gold ink in the mail that I ordered, and I was just kind of playing around with the Winsor & Newton gold ink. I don't know if it's showing up, just to see. And then I wrote down, last week I was walking Bisou and Mouser under some live oaks, and I thought to myself, how lovely they grow. Looking up through the leaves, the branches grow up. I love how they do that. They grow up and out as if to hug the ground. Standing under a live oak's heavy branches, I can feel safe, as if I'm being protected by something old and ancient, full of the earth's magic. No wonder ancient peoples worship trees. Live oaks are safety and protection. I did not capture I love how live oaks, like I said, they grow up and then like out. It's so beautiful. And in Florida they have Spanish moss on them, which looks like, you know, like little beards. But we don't have that here. Another tree. Another tree, and then leaf study from that particular tree. This tree was growing near my house where I used to live. So yeah, and then I think these are supposed to be daffodils. I don't know. Then here's a boat. One of my favorite things to paint. This is from a reference photo that I got from my watercolor painting teacher. I don't know if she took it or what, but I love it, and I love the combination. I love the combination of these colors. And then I think I wrote something down here. I didn't like my handwriting, so I painted some shells, 2 shells and a sharp tooth, and then glued it on top. There's another painting, also from a reference photo that I got from my painting teacher. Here's some paintings that I did of Hawaii. So this actually, I'd love to do a demo of this. I think this is what I call the easiest landscape, seascape, seascape, the easiest seascape to paint in the world. And I use only 3 colors when I paint this. And yeah, so I'd love to do this. I tried to film it and it didn't come out well, but yeah. So this is Diamond Head Beach Park. These are all from photos. So this is Diamond Head Beach Park, where I used to go when I was a little girl, and my husband and I also lived in Hawaii for a short time, a long time ago. This is with watercolor pencil, which is why it doesn't really look very well, because I kind of don't really know how to use them, or I don't use them as well as I do with just regular watercolor. But this is Hanauma Bay. I have memories there too. My sister, my dad, Waikiki, and then I wrote down a little memory. Sometimes Carl would still be surfing even as the sun would go down. I often went shopping if I got bored. We went often to the Pink Hotel for breakfast or lunch. So yeah, Waikiki. This is a quick sketch of Canadian geese that were behind my house where I used to live in Florida. So I wrote, Canadian geese parade behind the house. I had less than 2 minutes to get a good drawing in. Good thing the dogs didn't see them through the window. And then here's just some, I don't know, little playing around because I had a lot of leftover paint. I paint with a lot of green, as you can tell, greens and blues. And so whenever there's leftover paint, I would just go to this page and paint in some little egg shapes. So this is when I got my new Cotman Skechers pocket Skechers box. And I just was, actually I think I did a video of this. Yeah, I did a video of this. So I was just laying down the colors, and then I glued in all of the wrappers from the pans, and then I did like a little painting, which this painting is actually the exact same scene as this. So this and this. So, yeah. And then this was, I was trying to film a tutorial of my Diamond Head Beach Park painting, and I don't remember why I couldn't finish the video, but I couldn't. But I do want to do this one day. I was talking about doing this with an old art class friend of mine, and she was telling me, like, you really shouldn't start like teaching to paint until you talk about color theory first. And I was like, but that's boring, like does anybody even want to learn art theory from me? I don't know. If you do, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. But I'm kind of one of those, I like to jump in and just do something first before I get to all the, the jargon, all those art world terms and like art class like terms and definitions and stuff. But if you want, I always kind of just assume if you're doing art that you know about all that stuff already, but I hate when people assume that I know things that I don't know. So let me know if you want me to do a color theory video. I would be happy to, but I feel like if you're watching me, you probably don't need it. So I filmed this also for YouTube. I was just playing around with my colored pencils and my stamps, and I loved the soft, kind of washed out, antique-y effect that I got from this. And I got that idea from the Frugal Crafter, Lindsay Weirick. I wanted to make like a painting of my husband's hand, so I did an outline. I wanted to do something, I don't know, something pretty, and I never did. I will eventually. a silly little, you know, playing around sketch, and, you know, putting down some colors to practice, to see if they look well, because I was planning a painting. This I did actually just a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago. I was supposed to do this art challenge, and I never did it. Somebody, one of my friends nominated me to do it, or tagged me to do it on Instagram, and then I never did it because I was like, I don't want to do it. So I did a blackbird, and I wrote down the colors that I used, and then I put, quote, "the raven, nevermore." Sure, I don't need to tell you what that is. And then this is a tree, just a quick sketch of a tree in my backyard. I love the way it leans. I do. I want to paint it, like a better painting of it one of these days. This is more representative of what I like to do, and what I like when I'm painting or trying to paint something good. It's like this. This is just what I love. This dreamy kind of landscape garden, kind of lots of greens, lots of trees, lots of, I really like this. It's not my very best painting, but I love it. I love all the colors. Like, I feel like I created a world that I want to be in, and that's the kind of paintings that I like to do. Okay, I had to pause again. I'm sure I don't have to tell you, it's because of these dogs started barking. But anyway, as I was saying, I love this painting. This is more representative of what I do, like when I'm using like my good paper, my expensive paper. These are the kinds of paintings that I do. If you like, I can do kind of a tour of some of my favorite paintings. I've done one before. Yeah, if you'd like to see that, I did do a flip through of some of my paintings in the past. I'll put in the link in the description below, but I may do another one just because that one was like so long. But yeah, when I really want to do like a painting, this is kind of the style that I like to do. So yeah, then this is this was obviously the ladybug. There was like a lot of ladybugs hanging around my backyard, and I took a picture and I put it on Instagram, and one of my Instagram friends told me that it's an Asian ladybug because it's white, and this part of it is white and it has like an M shape on it, and she says those are the invasive species. And so she was like, that's the bad kind, and I just wrote, how could something so cute be bad? And then I wrote, Asian lady takeover, because we are taking over. Really, I just wanted to kind of study this color, which is one of my new Daniel Smith paints that I got at that estate sale back at the time. So yeah, and then like I said, I wrote the colors that I used on this, and the colors that I used for that one. So this page I showed you guys, these are just, I wanted to swatch down all of these pretty paints that I got. Look at that. Look how beautiful and vibrant this one is. But these were the paints that I got, Daniel Smith paints, that I got at that estate sale for $1 each, that I was so excited about. Haven't really used them that much. I have used the duochrome saguaro green, and I've used the duochrome adobe color. These two colors I've used. I feel like these are such earthy colors, they would go well more in a fall scene, which I don't have a whole lot of experience doing, but I'd like to. And look at this beautiful combination of the vermilion and the raw umber violet. I'm really loving this color. Like, this isn't even a color, like I would never have bought this color like at full price. I would have never gone to the store and been like, that's the color, I gotta have that color. I never would have. But I look forward to experimenting with it. So yeah, Don't make fun of this one. So I've never really done pen and ink washes before, and I wanted to kind of try my hand at a sort of illustrative style. I'm really not fond of this, but yeah, so this is, if you live in Dallas, this is actually a place called Crème de la Cookie, and they sell, French pastries, obviously, and little cake balls, and lemon bars, cupcakes and stuff. And I went in there and I took this picture and I used it as a reference photo. These are some little swirl roses that I made with leftover paint in my palette. Here are some more of the hummingbird drawings. I did this after, this one I didn't do on camera actually. The one that you saw me, if you watched that, if you saw me do that on camera, I honestly, I was organizing and cleaning and I don't know where I put it. I don't know where it is. I know it's somewhere. But so this is a different painting, and then some more studies, and then some I drew in some flowers. I wrote, "Finally, you came for a visit." I haven't seen any since, but I do know that my sugar water is being used, so they're coming. I just don't see them. This one I posted on Instagram. This is actually from a photo. I think if you watched my Midori, like when the little flip through that I did of the few drawings that I did in my new Midori Traveler's Notebook, this is one of the sketches that I did, and it's actually a street, but when I sketched it, it looked like a little stream. And so when I decided to paint it, I did it as a little stream. And so yeah, so I believe that street is called Cherokee Trail, but I'm not 100% sure. I know it's nearby. And then new brushes that I showed you guys. I was playing around with, the wash brush and the round long brush, and then that filbert, what is that called? Filbert grainer brush. So yeah, this is, I was feeling homesick. I actually did this, I think yesterday or the day before. And so yeah, I'm missing the beach. I miss missing Florida a lot. I love it here, don't get me wrong, I really do love it here, but I just love the beach and I love the ocean, and it's really hard for me to live away from the ocean. But so I did this, missing the ocean, and I did this hibiscus. This is actually from a photo that I took of a hibiscus plant that I used to have growing on my patio. And then this is supposed to be a moonrise, but it ends up looking like a sunrise. But yeah, so I did that. And then this, I think I did this yesterday too, or the day before yesterday. And this is from an old National Geographic magazine that I actually did. I can show you this. Where is it? Oh, it's here. That I've actually done this in colored pencil before, like a long time ago. This is like from high school. I've had this since I was in high school, which is a long time ago, y'all. A long time. But yeah, I did this in colored pencil when I was in high school, and I just kept it. It was one of my teacher at the time. He had like a bunch, and he always encouraged us to use these magazines to look for reference photos, and that's awesome advice. And so yeah, and then I sketched out what is going to be my last painting, which I will do in the very next video for you if you're interested in. I also sketched out a sort of a plan for like a bird painting. This is supposed to be a sharp-shinned hawk from a picture that I took in my backyard in Florida, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not, but yeah, so that's the end of it. That's the end of my little watercolor journey here, watercolor journey here. But yeah, so if you're interested in seeing me paint this, watch the next video. I will put it in the description below. So that's it. That's the end of my video. I want to say thank you for watching, and thank you for for being with me as I kind of went through, looking at my old drawings. Please be kind to me in the comments. Like I said, I talk a big game about, be confident in your art, and it does make me happy making my art and looking at my art, whether it's good or bad. It does make me happy, but like anyone, all of us that make art and that love art, it's a very personal thing, and it's kind of like, putting your heart on a little platter and giving it to people and saying, hey, here it is, what do you think about it? And yeah, so if you're watching this, then you know what I mean, and I'm sure you'll be kind to me, even if it's like if I did a bunch of stuff that you don't like. But even if it's my bad art, in a way I'm kind of proud of it because I did it. And I hope that whoever's watching will feel that way too about their own art. You did it. You did it for you. It made you happy. It kind of took you on a little journey. And yeah, so I hope that you will give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Continue watching. I've got a lot of fun stuff coming up, including a watercolor demo of this. This is going to be a beautiful beach scene. Well, what I hope is going to be a beautiful beach scene. I've got that coming up next. I've got another junk journal that I'm planning to do and work in. I want to do another flip through of my silly book and of the very first junk journal that I made. And I've got some collages coming up. I've got what else have I got coming up? I don't think I'll be doing any ephemera hunt videos for a while. I spent a little more than I wanted to last week. And it's kind of good anyway, because there aren't really any good, at least not from the app that I've been using. There doesn't seem to be any good ones coming up in the next couple weeks anyway. So yeah, I've been wanting to do an art room tour for a while now, but this room is just, I did a little bit of organizing in here. I mean, organizing for me, angel style organizing. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with organization, y'all. I just do. Like, it's like when everything is clean and put away and organized, then it's like I'm happy because I know where everything is and it's put away and it looks nice in here. But then I'm like, well, if I go in there and I work, then it's going to get messy again and I'm just going to mess it up. So then I don't work. And then when it's messy, I'm like, I don't have any space to work. Yeah, but I'm still kind of decorating in here too, and I've been looking for furniture that kind of, that's both functional and pretty. But I feel like I've been making progress. I'll do an art room tour soon. I'd love to. You guys are gonna laugh because it's like my system is like so like the opposite. Like when you do art room like when you watch art room tours or like people's craft studio tours, everything is nice, put away, all the drawers are like, mine is like everything's out. Like everything's here. But that's me. That's the way I live. I mean, I don't want to say that I necessarily like clutter. I'm kind of a germaphobe, if you want to be totally honest. But I don't like, like hospital, like stark, everything, nothing. I mean, my husband, honestly, he could live with a chair, a table, and a TV, and that's it, and he would be happy. I have to be surrounded by all of my things. It's just how I am. But yeah. Yeah. So let me end this video before I chat your face off again. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching and being with me on my little watercolor journal tour. Yeah. Hope to see you in the very next video. Hope you enjoyed this one. Go out and make something or do something that makes you happy and brings you joy in your life. And I will see you in the very next video. Bye-bye.